true.
So we didn't really expect the stats to be any different than that.
Yeah.
But I think I've got one little trick up my sleeve. What about the teammates?
I was really hoping you weren't going to bring that
Because
up.
I've got a 4-time Le Mans winner, Sebastian Buemi.
Do you know what I'm really annoyed about?
You
My
can't top
go-to
that.
stat about Andre Lostra is that he's won Le Mans 3 times.
Well, there you go, mate. I reckon we'll end that one on equal terms, or?
It's a tie.
And we're going to have to settle this in other means.
How?
We've got a chessboard, so should I do the honors?
Your move.
We both have no clue what we're doing.
Checkmate.
The atmosphere is, I have to say, absolutely frothing right now. And in terms of the championship standings, we've got the likes of Cassidy, Verline, Dennis. They've got an awful lot to do to try and overtake Sasha Fenestraz, who's currently P4, possibly some of the best racing of his life. Sam Bird is going to play tactics, and the upshot of that is we could maybe potentially see some mistakes and accidents, which is what we saw in qualifying with Jake Hughes, Ollie.
Yes, a unfortunate situation for Jake Hughes going through the very fast turn 5 and 6. You can hear here, he just bottomed out, lost control of the car, and once he's in the marbles, he just completely lost grip. And yeah, an unfortunate situation for him. It's a tub damage, so he will not be participating in this race. They'll be focusing on repairing that for tomorrow.
Do we think he'll make it tomorrow, though? That's the big question, Calvin.
That's always the big question. I do know that they share a chassis basically with McLaren. So obviously for logistical reasons, a lot of the teams do that, where they share a tub. I have heard that Nissan's actually used that tub already, so it could be a role to play for tomorrow. It's not sure that he will be back tomorrow.
It'll be interesting to hear from Ian James to find out what he thinks on that one. It'll also be interesting to find out from James Rossiter what he thinks of being on what is essentially a home race for Maserati. Let's head to Saunders now.
So I'm here with Maserati MSG team principal James Rossiter. Now this is a big day for you. The first race in Rome for Maserati in, was it 1975, was it?
I mean, it's too long for me to remember. So yeah, huge day for us. We've got some great grid slots, all to play for, I think.
What do you think is possible to achieve from here? Because you've got two very pacey drivers. You know, we know what Edo's capable of. We just haven't had the chance to see it yet. Could it be done here when it's sort of a home race for him as well as the team?
I think today I've got a gladiator in Edo. He's been on great form all weekend. We're going to send him to the front early and see what we can do.
Gladiator in Edo. Love to hear it. Well, we look forward to seeing him fight.
Thank you.
Kelvin, it's something we haven't necessarily spoken about, is the fact that for them, it's a home race, so it's special for many reasons. And Max was in amazing form recently.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, obviously on these weekends, you have so many guests, sponsors, partners, they all come here. So for the drivers, a lot of stress. They're often late at night at different sponsorship events doing presentations. So it does weigh on the drivers. Luckily, none of them are involved in the championship fight, so they obviously have that extra capacity for it. As you mentioned, they've had great form in Jakarta. We've got Edo in the hunt up front, so hopefully for the home crowd, he can do something special.
And you touched on there the championship hunt. If you aren't necessarily Mitch Evans, who's currently pole sitter, if you are in P7, P9, P10, as is the case with Verline, Cassidy, etc., what would success look like for them, do you think? Do they roll the dice, or do they just want points at this stage?
Points is step one. You know, they cannot afford to fall out of the points, and it's all about risk management starting from those positions. As I said earlier, there's drivers starting outside the top 10 that are just trying to score points, and some of them are fighting for their careers. So lots of storylines going up and down this grid. I think it's going to be a jam-packed, action-filled race.
Could the temperature come into this, do you think, Kelvin? It is very hot. I mentioned before, in quali, it got up to 53 degrees as track temperature.
Yeah, speaking to a lot of the teams, front powertrain is a big problem, like we saw in Jakarta. So if they end up pushing too hard towards the end of the race, we could see a lot of the powertrains overheating. So that's again playing into the strategy. You can't attack too hard, you can't push too much. But obviously for the guys that from behind, they're needing to do that. So it's really a balancing act, not overheating your powertrain, but the same.
Yo nggak kuat anjing.
To that point with less energy than we expect Mitch Evans to have, because you know he has clear air. He's able to use his teammate behind him to play some defense. That's what we can expect here today.
And Kelvin, he's also got Sam Bird, who's presumably going to make things very difficult and get the elbows out for the rest of the guys.
Yeah, definitely. Let's see how they use Sam. If they send him out up front to give him a slipstream, protect him maybe the first couple of laps. I don't really know what Jag's going to do, but it's going to be very interesting how they use Sam, and he could be the key point today.
When you see the safety car come out, that means it is almost time for the race to get underway. Can Mitch Evans do the unthinkable and make history repeat itself like he did last year? It's time to get the Rome Prix underway.
Well, drivers are lined up, ready to go for action here ahead of the 13th round of the ABB FIA Formula E World Championship. Just under 5 minutes to go until race time begins. Amazingly hot here in Rome as well, both on the ground in terms of the track temperatures and indeed the air temperatures here, Alan McNish. Getting up for 60 degrees out there on the tarmac on track.
Yes, it is. It's very, very hot, and that's something that I think the drivers and the teams are going to have to really consider for this race, for the tyre, for the driver cooling, but also for the way that they recover energy. And so it's definitely put a curveball into this particular afternoon. The track temperature, you mentioned there, 60 degrees. It was at 30 degrees when they finished their free practice this morning. And so it's a tremendous change. And I think that will bring a different dynamic with some of the cars maybe coming to the fore that we didn't see before.
Yeah, absolutely. Looking forward to getting underway very shortly here. It's round 13 of the 2023 ABB FIA Formula E World Championship. It's time for the 2023 Hankook Rome E3. Scorching conditions here this weekend. A man on pole who we're expecting to take the fight at the front and very much in the title fight as well. It is going to be a hugely exciting affair out on track over the course of the 25-lap race here this afternoon. My name is Tom Brooks, alongside me, Alan McNish, guiding through the action around this rope circuit. Talk us through it, Alan.
It's the longest lap that we have in this season's Formula E Championship. It's got 3 really distinct sectors, but certain areas to look at. Turn 7, hard braking, very, very bumpy. Uphill there, a lot of incidents. Then the attack mode around the long turn 15 around the obelisk, and so they'll see overtaking there and we'll see them using it, but then finally the last corner turn 3. Now that's got a lot of people out who've touched the wall in previous years. Altogether, it's a very fast, it's a dynamic, and it's a very different style of circuit.
Absolutely.
Sete kamera.
Grid ahead of the 13th round of the ABB FIA Formula E World Championship. You see Sergio Sete camera at the back of the grid. Andre Lotterer lines up on the 11th row with Roberto Meri alongside. Next up is the Neo 333 of Dan Ticktum. Robin Frines in the Apt Cupra lining up 17th on the grid. Then it is Jean-Eric Byrne in the DS Penske. He has got Lucas de Grassi with Mahindra alongside of the company. Then we have Nico Muller on the grid in the Apt Cupra. He has got Antonio Felix Stoffel Van Dorn is P12 with Norman Nato, the company alongside him in the Nissan. Pascal Berline in the top 10, his third top 10 qualifying in 5 races. Nick Cassidy, championship checklist alongside. Then it's Max Jake Dennis down in 7th place in the Avalanche Andretti, not where he wanted to start. And then Mortara is on the next row of the grid. Rene Ras there, his 4th top 5 qualifying.
Di Roma, Italia.
His best qualifying for Berlin lines up P4 with Sasha Fenestrad.
Yuk, sambat. Protect mids, protect mids. Jangan disunduh lagi si mids. Teng 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 teng.
Drivers going for the title battle in 2023, and Jake Dennis very much at the helm. This is Sam Bird. Wasn't actually sure if he was going to be competing in the duels after his lap was deleted from qualifying, then later reinstated. He got himself to the duels and he gets himself on the front row of the grid. But this man here did the double here last year, Alan. He'll be hoping to fall similar.
Bring him right into the title fight, as you said. He did everything perfectly this morning. He was fast in all the sessions and then delivered that killer blow at the end of the qualifying with his
Hello, hello.
himself in a perfect place. But I have to say,
Kalian pada suka Formula E nggak sih? Pada suka Formula E nggak? Ada Maggie. Ngapain Mac? Terus Mac sampai 1000 Mac. Like terus sampai 1000 Mac. Sukanya yang bensin. Gak suka karena ini ya, suaranya nggak menggelegar ya. Lekrek win ini mah, mana ada lekrek. Lekrek. Evan minggu depan ya, Evan ya. Ayo, jangan sundul-sundulan. Jangan sundul-sundulan. Iya Hungaria, oh ya bener. Are you sure you're from Vietnam? Ayo Mac terus Mac, jempolnya Mac. 1000 Mac, 1000 Mac. Anjing si Maggie masih aja. Please jangan sundulan please. Ya, saatnya protect mid Sam. Anjing. Oke Sam P1 agak ngeri ya. Mac jangan rusun apa Mac. Ayo Cap, ikutan Cap, like Cap. Sampai 1000 Cap, tap Cap. Anjing beneran dong udah sampai 900. Tabrak terus. Anjir, trio brace. Gokil. Mortara apa Gunter tadi? Gunter ya? Jir, kok aneh untuk mobilnya? Gak aneh lah. Aneh kenapa emang? Justru ini lebih kompetitif daripada Formula One. Overtake-nya ada. Ya, perkenalkanlah ini adalah Formula E elektrik. Kan elektrik nggak sekompleks Formula One gitu. Ini maksudnya pakai mic HP ya? Iya. Iya, kayak pakai mic HP. Maunya MotoGP masih lama, MotoGP mah di sebulan lagi. Gak ada PB Nor. Mau habis ini. Tapi habis ini aku restart dulu. Jam berapa ya berarti ya? Anjing. Makasih Mike. Boleh. Thank you lo Mike. Tonton rata-rata overtake price-nya bisa 3 kali lipat dari Evan. Iya benar itu. Bukan Evan. Genjo cek ke profilku. Ada beberapa formula itu seru-seru banget. Broken Wing. Dakosa. Wearline. No, Aaron broken front wing. Nanti Cap habis ini Cap. Ini kita mau main PUBG nggak sih? Aku udah download loh. Download berapa sih? 10 gigaan anjir. Gak dimain-mainin babi kalian. Ini maksa banget sih si Gunter. Bam. Mortara bukan Gunter sih. Ah, yang itu. Der. Oh ya Mortara. Guntur yang rusuh dari awal. Yang jago di sini siapa? Kalau dilihat dari klasemen sih Mitch di race ini ya kayaknya sih Mitch paling jago. Musim lalu dia beresin 2 race dia. 2 race menang terus. Gen 3 hitungannya udah pakai lap. Udah lap 2 dari 25. Bannya. Iya, bannya beda daripada Evan. Ini bannya ban strict gitu loh. Jadi ada garisnya gitu. Nggak ada ban slick, ban incer, ban wet itu nggak ada. Berapa total race musim ini? 16 race, 16 round. Tapi weekend ini ada 2. Kayak Jakarta, kemarin Jakarta 2 kan. Di sini juga 2.
Still very much in touching distance as they come down the start-finish straight. Lap 3 out of 25 we are on. There is Nick Cassidy in the Envision. Following him closely is Max Günther in the Maserati. Home race here for Maserati. They'll be hoping for a strong result here this weekend. The two Jags looking pretty close to one another, and you wonder here whether Mitch Evans is going to try and...
Mitch gonna attack. Ya. Awas. Protect. Awas, hati-hati, jangan sundulan, Jangan bikin hat-trick katanya. Kalau Evan itu serunya lebih ke spesifik sirkuitnya. Contoh Interlagos udah pasti seru. The Prix pernah champion Formula E, ya. Lotral. Safety car ini kayaknya. Ya kan safety car. The Prix pernah champion, ya pernah. 2 tahun yang lalu kalau nggak salah ya. Evan itu serunya Interlagos nggak juga. Aku nggak terlalu nggak terlalu excited banget gitu nonton F1. Nonton tapi nggak se-excited nonton ini. Jagoanmu siapa itu? Kuyorana itulah siapa. Soalnya F1 itu kan kayak sebelum race aja udah ketahuan gitu siapa yang menang gitu. Max Paul ya udah menang tuh Max. Thank you lagi Mac. Love you too. Jadi mesti gabut ya Mac. Sudah liburan kan Mac? Hancur. Udah fokus ke ini aja udah. Ke endurance. Andre. Buset, kalian lagi pada kenapa ya? Malah pada ngasih gift loh. Thank you. Thank you Cap. Sprint race bukan. Race biasa. Apa? Hah? Bang joget dong, gak mau. Minimal mandi lumpur. Mandi lumpur. Speed Formula E berapa? 300-an. Cap. Gabut ya, Cap. Thank you, Cap. DJ set. Ya Allah. Kalian kenapa, Cok? Dukung Alonso. Lihat GT3 sama Supercar Australia. Di mana nontonnya? Di YouTube ada nggak? Aduh, ngelek. Di YouTube ada nggak itu? Aduh, kesenggol. Besok login. Boleh. Jam berapa? Oh, udah ya, Teh. So, kalian main dulu kalau mau sekarang mah. Aku harus ngecas dulu habis ini. Kasih waktu 30 menit dah. Ntar aku login. Sama aku mau nyobain nih, sambungin ke OBS biar di record bisa atau enggak. Slipstream di FX kuat banget. Iya, emang. Makanya kemarin di Portland sama Berlin itu bener-bener kacau. Cek di itu udah videoku ada tuh di konten aku. Bener-bener kacau banget. Nah, serunya tuh di situ gitu loh. Portland seru Pak. Ya kan, seru kan? Formula E emang ya seru. Karena memang mobilnya lebih kecil kan daripada F1. Ya. Judging Press. F harus banyak nyobain sirkuit permanen. Udah pernah nyoba di Valencia, terus gak diperpanjang lagi. Gak tahu kenapa ya. Formula E race di sirkuit apa bang? Ini bukan sirkuit street, apa sih, kayak sirkuit jalanan gitu, kayak Azerbaijan, kayak Monaco gitu. Tapi ini di Roma, Italia. Formula E nggak pakai sirkuit asli gitu, yang kayak MotoGP atau Formula One. Anjing udah 2.500. Buset. Udah simpan aja Mik uangnya Mik. Ngapain nge-give? Kalau like banyak tuh fungsinya apaan sih? Ntar muncul kayaknya deh kayak disarankan gitu kayaknya. Kayak nge-boost gitu loh. Finish rush of attack bird.
Yeah, not working at all for Sam Bird in the opening stages. Is that going to possibly leave him under threat from Rene Rast? The McLarens have been struggling with
Makasih lo Mac, tapi jangan keseringan tau. Nyantai aja. Nonton mah nonton. Renevas. McLaren. The Neo. Check attack mode. Tapi agak ngerinya efek kalau di street circuit itu jalannya bumpy banget, takut nge-snap oversteer. Ya memang banyak yang bumpy. Waktu itu sempat chaos dah di New York 2022 last season kalau nggak salah. Ini juga ada bumpy-nya ini di sini. Ada bumpy-nya. Ya namanya juga street circuit ya. Fast. Trennya fast. Nice move, Dak. Sambet. Hebat energi kah? Kayak gampang banget ke Fantech gitu. Habis setting itu bumnya gede banget. Kalau itu nggak tahu sih. Personal B7 ngambil attack mode. Oh nice banget Mitch. Nice banget. Sirkuit mana? Aduh nge-lag ya. Oh udah. Sirkuit mana? Di ini Roma. Street circuit tapi. Oh 8 menit attack mode-nya. Oke, Dennis mulai nge-push. Roland udah putus kontrak. Dia nggak tahu kenapa putus kontrak kemarin setelah Monaco. Bukan putus kontrak sih, ya putus kontrak tapi jatuhnya mengeluarkan diri, apa sih, resign ya? Kayak semacam You can fuck your kadai, mate. Langsung ke attack lagi 2. Jagoanmu siapa? Sambet. Bird. Di posisi 4 bird. Aduh, mid 99%. Enggak ding, penetrasi 69%. Gak begel cap, nge-lag terus. Kalau MotoGP Fabio Di Antonio. Please. Gagal dong. Oh, Sambet ngambil juga. Make it clean. Oke, nice. Nanggung goceng. Oke. My coolant temp.
It's a high coolant temp, I think he was saying something along the lines of.
World Superbike Bautista dong. Menang tuh tadi tuh Bautista. Aku nonton. Nyantai aja mid. Finish cuma 69%. 2% lebih banyak si mid. Yellow flag. Sam. Oh. No, Sam. Mahindra juga kena. Maserati. Aduh. Oh, buyang. Ah, sial banget season ini, bet. Wait. Da Costa.
So that really did cause a massive concertina effect up and down the field. Huge crash here on lap 9. Wait for further news. Sebastian Buemi's up and out of his Envision car here, Alan.
Yeah, and it's also another factor that the teams will be
As a
considering straight away.
reminder, the red flag
Damage
procedure
and
is
also
you
for the
park in
race
front
tomorrow.
of your garage, or you go
He's
into
okay?
your garage if you require repairs. In front.
Aduh, lembur nih Jaguar nih. Envision juga lembur. Maserati, Up, Mahindra, Porsche lembur semua. Jaguarmu crash, iya, crash. USBK berapa minggu sekali? Tergantung. Rencananya Evan mau buat mobilnya lebih kecil lagi pas liputan. Ya, ya. Karena udah pada komplain kan kayaknya. Waktu itu sempet baca dah. Sempet komplain siapa gitu. Minta dibikin lebih kecil lagi supaya ada chance buat overtake. Debris di mana-mana, cuy. Oh. Ih. Dar. Blind spot pasti ini.
Tagged him earlier on, so the people that were on the left-hand side of the circuit tagged the front of the car, and then Mortara hit the back of the car.
Ini Buemi.
And so here we are on board with Buemi, and so this is a driver's eye view of the incident coming up ahead. And Sam is just 2 cars up. He gets a little bit wide into the wall, and as you see, it's pretty blind coming through here.
Ah, iya, blind spot.
Yeah, there's very little for him to do. The car's up, the wheels up in there, and then it's a concertina effect from there, because that then is like a pinball. It spins the car in and there's Mortara, very heavy hit.
Yeah, Mortara with absolutely nowhere to go in that one as well. Well, that has certainly reduced
Why?
the cars that will be taken to the restart in this.
Thank you loh, Cap. Donatnya sama kopinya. Untung ada Hello. Iya, untung ada Hello. Dar.
pretty heavy hit, and also the Porsche behind him as well, locked up, and that's where we saw the Porsche hitting and the Costa.
Wah, di tengah-tengah gitu sih. Oh, Van juga kena. Oh, itu Van.
Slams on the brakes at the last possible moment. That's really, really violent. One of the Mahindras involved there as well. You can see Felix da Costa's Porsche up the road. Just important to
Si Up juga kan. Oh, jadi bener tadi kena ya. Cuma Van nggak tahu nih masih bisa lanjut atau enggak. Untung udah hello ya. WSBK besok masih ada. Super Bowl jam 4. Terus race jam 7. Weh, udah goceng. Thank you.
As I said, the teams will be thinking about the effect and repercussions for today, for this race, for the championship, but also to make sure the cars are repaired for tomorrow.
Aduh, bet.
When the red flag came out, of course, we've got no Sandberg. He will not be making the restart, so that's going to promote Maxi Günther up the order as well, quite possibly depending on if he's got any damage on his car.
Well, that's the thing. We've got to now wait and see what the damage is, because there was so much debris there and people just clipping the wall in the left and the right as they were trying to make their way past. It was pure 100% just instantaneous reaction that got them out of what was a very tricky situation when they did. Some of them just unfortunately didn't quite make it.
No, well, back into the Jaguar garage. This is Mitch Evans, and for the drivers that have deployed their attack mode or were in active use of attack mode, what does that mean?
That means it just runs down. That's unfortunately the bad luck of the situation. There's Andre Lauter who had that corner earlier on. He's just taking the opportunity to be able to now go back to the pits. But for them that had activated attack mode and whatever was left, so Pascal Wehrlein, I think, had 6 minutes that he attacked. If he had 4 minutes left, then it just ran down naturally, and you would not get that back.
Well, that's going to leave some at a disadvantage once the race restarts. There's Nico Müller, Japs Cooper making his way back to the pit lane.
Yo Allah, Mac. Thank you, Mac. Panda. Buat apa itu Panda? Sampai tuh aslinya di series mana? Series mana ya? Kurang tahu sih. Aku nonton juga 2020-an, baru nonton 2020-an. Oh, Lucas.
Yeah, it's a shame for Lucas. Hasn't had a particularly fortuitous weekend thus far. The other side of the coin is Mitch Evans.
Karena bisa nge-slide gitu ya. Dirty part kah? Costa.
Yes, thank you very much, guys. Now, obviously, we're going without saying that the thing of most importance is that to see all drivers are out the car and that everyone's okay. But I just want you to have a little spin around this pit lane and seeing how quiet it is. Purely because I can count 10 cars in the pit lane out of 22. So that just gives you an indication of how many cars were involved in this incident. And I think
setengahnya dong berarti. Kalau cuma 10 doang.
So even more glad to hear that everybody is okay. Now, this, of course, has ramifications on the race, but it also has huge ramifications on the championship. Because as Razzie pointed out to me just shortly ago, almost everybody involved in terms of the team's championship, the opposite end of the game,
balik deui sih Cap.
Points for their team partner doing well in the drivers' championship is now out of this race. So this is major amount of points lost for teams like Envision, for Jaguar, for Porsche, and for Andretti. So yeah, this is a big thing to happen, of course, but has huge ramifications for the championship as well as the race.
Yeah, cheers, Saunders. Really good point there, actually, isn't it? Of course, ramifications for the teams' championships as some of the drivers. There's Lucas Di Grassi for Mahindra, just getting his way into the car. I think there's quite a few that have squished themselves into the back of the car, waiting to get back into the pit lane. As his stricken Mahindra is away from the circuit as we await further information on when the race will resume. At the time that the red flag came out, there were 17 laps that still left to run. You wonder whether we'll get a slightly reduced race distance and what the procedure is going to be. James Barkley now has no rear gunner.
Sisa sendirian.
Sandberg was in the team game.
Udah kabur.
Jaguar TCS Racing. Now, of course, Sandberg is very much out of the race. And this is going to be really important also here for Pascal Wehrlein. You saw the Porsche team, they're just working away.
Iya
on
anjing,
his car.
sendirian Mac.
And this could possibly save Wehrlein's race. At the time of the red flag came out, he was 14th, but it's that 1, 2, 3, 4 cars up the road from him have retired because they were involved in that incident. So that then de facto means that he's 10th, essentially. So yeah, this could be important. Let's have another look. This is Bird's crash.
Ush.
He
Fun.
goes into the back of it there as well.
Dor.
Positive effect. Oh, that's Mortara. That's the one that's really,
Wah.
really nasty. Robin Fright's involved in there. And Lucas Di Grassi.
Itu tipat dah.
See it once again here from Bird's point of view. So just a little
Wait.
bit wide going through.
Iya kayaknya itu tipat.
Clips the wall on the outside. At this point he's now patched. Nothing he can do. Gets clipped by Buemi really quite violently. Lots of carbon fibre stricken over the track and then wait for the secondary impact. And there you go. Bang. Eno Mortara straight to the scene of the crash in the Maserati. Let's have a listen to some team radio. Have a listen to Seb Buemi.
Yeah, what do you expect? It's blind spot, man.
Buemi then clearly frustrated following that. Let's have another look at the driver's eye view of exactly what happened there. So he's coming through. Oh, so unsighted. Massive impact into the side of Buemi. Thankful for the halo in these circumstances as well. Just stopping the wheel, the carbon fibre going directly into his eye line. He emerged from the car frustrated but crucially up and over.
Masih ya, Mac.
An incident which could be far, far worse.
Wow.
You can see there as well Porsche of Felix da Costa, who was crabbing his way down after being involved in that very, very big hit. You might see Mortara just clipping back of Sandberg. But dice for him. Dice for this man here, Sebastian Buemi. His first retirement of the 2023 season. He'll be disappointed with that, but again, given the severity of the impact, he'll be frustrated. Thumbs up to the camera as he walks his way back through pit lane. But the body language says it always very clearly frustrated. And disappointment there for him because, of course, we were talking about Sandberg playing the rear gunner role to Mitch Evans, but Sebastian Buemi was effectively trying to do the same for Nick Cassidy in that race. So that means that Envision are only going to have one car in the race, as are Jaguar, as are Porsche now, with Pascal Wehrlein in effectively 10th place, because he's 14th, but 4 cars up the road will not be taking to the restart. So it's a welcome sight here for Pascal Wehrlein. Great news for him, but nonetheless, disappointment for all the other drivers.
Oil.
With his teammate being one of the cars that's out, so the rear gunner aspect of it's dropped off. But at the same time as well, you have to say that Dennis and Cassidy are now already in strong points, and they are two of the leading contenders. Right now, there's not very much gain that would come from the positions if it stays as it is right now. However, after the restart, in one lap, I think it'll be completely different again.
Well, they'll be incredibly grateful that Sandberg took his attack mode when he did, because, you know, had he been a bit further up the road, you know, 3rd or 4th place, that could potentially have involved other drivers, you know, maybe Dennis, maybe Cassidy, and we could be talking about a very different set of circumstances at this point.
So now we've got DS to Cheetah. We saw some incident there, and this is Jean-Eric Verne's car, and they're trying to repair that for the restart. That car made it back round into the pit. It's in the garage, and they're frantically trying to make sure that car is ready by the time this race will restart.
Yeah, so now the drivers just sit, debrief and discuss exactly what happened from a team owner point of view. What's going on here?
No, you don't discuss anything what happened. That's ancient history. You discuss what you're doing and what you need to do going forward. So right now it would be making sure that the driver is in a position where he's nice and cool and he's able to focus on what he has to do next. Nothing about the past. The past
Ya,
is gone,
nol.
it's gone.
Yay.
And so therefore it would just be about trying to ensure that you are all prepared and making sure that everybody has focus 100% on the next job in hand.
Sergio sets a camera here for the Neo 333 team, and here is Pascal Wehrlein. He'll be possibly hoping for an opportunity, cool vest on, to try and keep his core temperature as low as possible in the sweltering conditions that we've had here in Rome. It's time for the drivers to take a short breather.
Yeah, then.
Mate.
Incidents at all the time at the moment, I would imagine, just due to the fact that it's such a severe incident. Lots of carbon fibers running over the track, and we'll see exactly when we're likely to get a restart. Interestingly, just having a look, the longest ever Formula E race was actually back here at home in 2019. That car in 30 minutes.
The Neo.
It's a race that Mitch Evans and the Jaguar won.
Yep, but you've got various regulations that mandate what the maximum time period that the race can go on for, and that's, I think, 3 hours from the race start, so I think we're probably going to be okay in that one.
Absolutely, you can see, so the drivers on the left hand side.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. Ada 7. Enak 6. 6 driver.
So yeah, a plethora of retirements at this stage, but also just want to say a huge credit to the safety of these cars as well. All of those drivers involved in that incident, all emerging okay.
Yeah, they're very, very strong in that respect. And the cars are designed to withstand massive impacts. That's the way that they're constructed.
Shasha.
He was leading as the race was stopped for him. They're now looking at what their strategy will be for the next part of it.
Yeah, Sasha Fenderstrasse.
Lucas Di Grassi, he won't be taking any further part in it with this car. Ended up at turn 7.
Yeah, 2017 champion is Lucas Di Grassi. Been involved in Formula E since its inception back in 2013. Long time ago now. He's one of the longest serving competitors, as we said. Here is
Jake Hughes.
Take to the start of this race. He had an almighty shunt in qualifying, actually at the same corner of turn 6. Very sort of similar start to the impact there for him. He went a little bit wide with that corner, had one impact with the wall, had an impact on the other side of the wall, and unfortunately damaged the chassis, and that meant that he wasn't able to restart the race. I suppose this throws up some questions as well for some teams about getting the cars rebuilt and ready for racing tomorrow.
Yeah, 100%, and especially like Edo Mortara there, who is on his way back, because that was a very heavy impact, as it was for Evans. And we saw there that Jake Hughes, now as we understand, they're borrowing a spare chassis from Porsche. Porsche had the Costa in the shunt. Is the Costa chassis damaged? And so now they'll be looking at the main core aspect to see what they need to do.
Wah.
The first thing they'll do is just consider tomorrow and get on with the job in preparation then.
Well, Dan Tickton there just
Malu dia. 2 kali dia di syuting kayak gini.
cooling off in the garage at the moment. Big feature in
Rene pas.
Unplugged, really rad,
Diledekin Rene.
tactic as Dan Tickton. If you want to watch Formula E Unplugged, it's available on the official Formula E app. You can watch it completely free, and I have to say it is absolutely tremendous. Season 2 in particular, I watched it the other day in my hotel room, and really interesting. Just great insight into the characters involved in Formula E, and just exactly what sort of effort and hard work goes into being a racing driver, but also gives you an idea as to exactly what their personalities are like outside of the racing car, crucially as well. As Lucas Di Grassi just has a bit of a debrief with his team. Jake Dennis, meanwhile, cool vest on, focus now on the restart, whenever that will prove to be. Just trying to keep his
Si lama euy.
Still the cleanup operation is
Setengah jam kali.
they've got some of Quidditch sticks out to clear up the debris.
Because the problem here is there were so many small carbon shards, and this
Kerusakannya.
camera of the Maserati looking at the damage. He's taken a fair hit.
It really has, yeah, but crucially, the
Bang, kalau Evan suka live juga nggak bang? Enggak.
cars here is okay. What's going on here?
This is
Aku bingung
We
ya.
saw him having the
Kalau
impact
live Evan tuh.
to the pits, and this is the front corner. You see the drive shaft there that puts the energy.
Karena kadang kan Evan
Into
nggak terlalu sering overtake-nya kan jadi bingung mau ngapain gitu.
driver's feet, and then that will go straight back into the battery, and so the MGU is just sitting into there. That's the question, is whether it's damaged or not. Doesn't look like it is, but they are doing a chassis, the suspension repair on the bottom leg of the wishbone. They're also working, I saw, on the rear of the car as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Get a little bit of team radio from him in a few moments time, just to see what happens. Here we go.
Holy, that was crazy.
Hey.
Did you pass just
Yeah, that was crazy.
Yeah, that obviously was
Terus tutup
radio
dah.
from, when he was
You save lah.
not live.
Yeah.
This is actually Stoffel van Dorn's car that is there, yeah. So it's Stoffel's car, and looking at the other side, that would suggest that Jean-Eric Verne's car's okay because it's in the pits, and he should be in line.
Yeah, so managed to avoid too much drama there, did John O'Byrne. He'll be pretty pleased with that. Meanwhile, on the other side of the garage, as you can see, a lot of work being done to
Bersih.
PS Penske. Now the cleanup operation continues. Here is the view from Maxi Gunter's point of view. We're riding on board with him, so Bird's already had his incidents. Threads the Ivan Eagle through the right-hander. It's behind him.
That was that.
Begins to unfold. This is Pascal Verline's view. Antonio Foster's view. This is quite.
Yosh.
Oh.
Uy.
Oh. So as he goes almost
Wow.
underneath it, doesn't he? Yeah. So on board here with Verline. Oh, so he took a whack there as well, didn't he?
Yeah. He took a whack, but I think it was bodywork that was bouncing over the top of Verline's car.
Wow, udah Costa.
No, he's got massive steering damage there, right hand down.
Yeah, absolutely.
On
Let's
this
get down
one.
to Radzi, shall we, and find out an update as to what's cracking down there, Radzi.
Well, I'm currently just out the Jaguar TCS Racing Garage, joined by, in unfortunate circumstances, team principal James Barkley. James, first of all, thank you for your time. Secondly, what's the situation with Sam Bird? Is he okay?
Yeah, that's the most important thing. Sam is okay. He's back now. He had his medical checkup, so that's kind of procedure to take him back to see the doctor and just make sure everything's okay. But yeah, fortunately, he's okay. The other drivers seem to be okay as well. We're just kind of getting reports as they go through the checkups. Yeah, a very bad accident. You know, nightmare scenario really. Fastest part of the circuit on a blind corner. So yeah, most importantly, the car's been strong. It's done its job and it's protected the drivers.
Which is absolutely fantastic.
Yeah.
Thank you for that update. In terms of the team championship, the last time we spoke to you, obviously it's a very different scenario. It was a front row lockout. Things have all changed. Where's your head at with now the race now?
Yeah, we always have the reset and we have the restart when it comes. And our job now is, of course, to try and almost start it like a new race and see what we get to. So it's not going to be easy. Obviously, this delay. You just need to make sure your process and your procedures that you start afresh. We'll get straight onto Sam's car for tomorrow. Obviously, that's now done for the day. So yeah, everything's all about making sure we reset and we get ourselves ready for this restart.
So you try and
Okay,
make
good.
it emotionally reset, but obviously in terms of the energy consumption, that is now locked into wherever it is at. So do you take that strategy and carry on, or do you have to evolve?
Well, of course, we have to see where we are at that point in time. But of course, people are on different points on energy at this point. These are all factors we have to take into account, absolutely. But for sure, it's not going to be an easy race. If you look at where everyone is across the field, it's definitely going to be a challenging second part to this race.
Thanks so much for your time, Jones. Really, really appreciate it, and glad to see Sam's okay.
Thank you.
Now, in terms of it was a very, very complex incident, it's safe to say, which involved multiple cars, not just Sam, Sebastian Buemi to name but a few. So let's head over to Saunders and Ollie right now for a bit more detail on this one.
Yeah, thank you very much, Radzi. Joining us in the pit lane studio.
Nggak ada shoot dari
Let's take a
depan
look
sih ya.
at- I mean, I think you'll agree with me. Probably one of the biggest incidents we've seen in Formula E.
Yeah, certainly, and one of the most dangerous corners on the calendar. This is a completely blind corner, almost hitting the top speed of what this Gen 3 car is capable of. And yeah, as we see here, Sam Bird losing control of the car. We believe he had just gone through attack, so he was also in the higher power. And
Yeah, in
lost
higher
the rear.
power.
Once he was in the marbles, it was game over from there. And
Yeah, marbles.
the car is coming behind at this velocity. They don't have the reaction time and the space to remove themselves from danger.
This really, sorry to interrupt, but this is really, I'm just going to take that back just very slightly just to see Sebastian Buemi there, because you can see he's on a trajectory of actually flipping at this point.
Yeah, and he does actually go on his side, and thank God for the safety of this car and the halo and everything that's gone into keeping these drivers safe, because he was completely on his side. If you play it,
Boom.
and Antonio Felix
just see it
Acosta
there,
went
couldn't
underneath him, so you can see all the debris all over the track. And still, this is a blind corner, so cars that are coming here now, yes, the yellow flags are waving, but they still don't have enough time to
That's
slow
just
down. They don't know
fun.
exactly where Sam Bird is sitting. So
Fun one.
I believe that's John-Eric Verne. Just crept through down the inside. That
Narrowly,
was
yeah.
pure luck and reaction time. And now we can see in a moment here the big impact with Eduardo Montero going straight on.
Huge, this is stomach churn. Goes without saying, it's very, very warming to know that they're all out of the car. I think it's only Sam Bird that's going through additional checks, but yeah, they're all out of the car and okay, thankfully. But again, it's just testament to show how ridiculously robust these cars are, how much they can take. Because like you said, there isn't a corner in the calendar that is a worse place.
Look at the slide.
No, and I believe it's 8 cars that didn't make it back. Could be more than that did make it back, but have some structural damage to the tires, and it's going to completely change the dynamic of this race moving forward. And I think we have another clip here of to the Buemi view.
Yeah, this is very, very interesting. Obviously, going into this, let's play that here.
This just clearly shows how blind this is, and as you see, he goes on his side, and how high speed is that? I mean, it happens so quickly. You don't have time to react.
Let's just take that back and watch that again if we can, because I want to just slow it down because it happens so fast, obviously. But if we just kind of half speed it now, you can see, it just clips that, and that's what gives it the rotation.
Oh.
Yeah, I mean, this is terrifying stuff. So glad to see that. Okay, you mentioned it there. This is going to have huge ramifications on the race, but also on the championship. So it'll be interesting to see how this race finishes and what it means for the championship at the end.
Yes, it's going to be a very long night for most of the teams that were involved in this through the paddock. So yeah, the mechanics have some work cut out for them to then repair these cars for round 2 here in Rome tomorrow.
Absolutely. Thank you very much for the insight as always. Back to you, Ramsey.
Saunders, thank you, Ollie. Just to kind of give you guys a sense of the scale of what's happened, there's a real somber mood, almost a mixture between what you'd see pre-FP1 and possibly on the grid. If we just take a look here, we've got all the cars here with their umbrellas over them, with the cooling systems to keep the powertrains as cool as they possibly can be on both sides of the paddock here. It's a scene that I've never seen before, and it's really created a sense of, I guess, reflection and not
Satu tim cuma punya mobil satu.
But Kelvin, while the guys were providing that analysis, you made a brilliant point about the turn of fortune for Pascal Wehrlein.
Yeah, what a rollercoaster day for him. First of all, not making it into the duels, being at the back of the grid, knocking his front nose cone off early in the race. It looked like he was down and out. It looked like the day was pretty much run for him, 0 points. And within a matter of 10 minutes, everything's reset again. So put yourself in his shoes. He's sitting in the back of the box. It's almost like a lifeline now for him. He's got a chance under this red flag to really reflect, think about what he can do now to do it better in the second half of the race when it restarts, and hopefully save his day pretty much.
A brilliant, brilliant point. So he's third in the championship standing so far. He's been inconsistent coming into this. I think 1 podium in 5 races, and all of a sudden, like you say, crucial points to go deep into the championship.
Yeah, we've already mentioned, I mean, so many cars that won't restart this race, so the chance of being in the points today is very, very high. He needs to capitalize on that. We see a lot of cars probably won't start tomorrow, so for every championship contender, there's a big chance here today to kind of have this damage limitation moment. Obviously for a Mitch Evans, it's a least wanted scenario. He wanted as many cars as possible in between him and his championship contenders, but I think for him, he just wants to go out now, reset as well, and hopefully just win this race and do the best that he can.
Well, well said, sir. It's been bad and sad news, obviously, for Sam Bird and a number of other cars. We're very grateful that everyone has walked away, as we understand it so far, A-OK. But now we can reavert our gaze and our attention to the championship because there's crucial points on hand today and indeed tomorrow. It is a doubleheader here at Rome. With that in mind, we can hand back to our commentary team of Tom Brooks and Alan McNish.
Yeah, thank you very much indeed there, Radzi. So great to hear from the team down on the ground here in Rome. As the cleanup continues, we will take a very short break in a few moments' time, just to wait until we get action back underway and see when we get the restarted race for round 13 of the ABB FI8 Formula E Championship. Well, as the cleanup continues here for the circuits and the drivers, we now await to see which of the drivers will be taking to the restart. We saw some frantic action in the DS
Aduh, lama ini.
garage trying to get Stoffel Van Dorn's machine fixed. This is Jake Dennis, who was in 4th place at the time of the Red Flag Championship, retaining this championship leader, as a matter of fact, by 1 point over Nick Cassidy, and he's a special Rome tribute helmet here this weekend, fighting like a gladiator. He was out on track and just giving it a quick going over, sorting out some tear-offs, etc. Ready to go for the restart. His earplugs there as well, just making sure everything is good to go. And there is Antonio Felix Acosta, very heavily involved in that incident, was the Porsche driver, both Porsches in fact involved in that one. Couldn't come at a worse time for the 2020 champion. He was needing to try and play rear gunner to teammate Pascal Wehrlein in the championship battle, but unfortunately proving to not be the case for him here. So this is be really interesting to see what happens when the restart gets underway, and of course for the drivers who were active in attack mode at the time as well. That really
attention all teams, this is race control.
Interesting.
We have affected the majority of the cleanups. At the moment now, I'm giving everyone a 10-minute warning. 10-minute warning. The intention is to restart this race at 16:05. 16:05 is the restart time.
Jing, 10 menit lagi.
So
11 menit.
10-minute warning now as they've managed to get the majority of the cleanup done. So 16:05 local time here in Rome is when they're expecting the race action to begin, the resumption procedure. So now, from a team point of view, where does that leave them here now, Alan?
Well, now they've got to prepare all the system setting. The driver needs to start to be thinking, because if the race starts in 10 minutes and it's a 10-minute warning, then you've got to be in the car for 5 minutes to go. And so that's in 5 minutes time, and it's just all of these principles now, because they've been waiting on this 10-minute period. You know it's going to be 10 minutes, and so therefore they've just been waiting, and now they will affect all of the different things they have to do in the lead up to it.
Yeah, all the drivers that are going to restart the race, you can see with the pit graphic on the left-hand side of the screen. So that includes Nissan's Sacha Fenestraz, Mitch Evans from Jaguar TCS Racing, Rene Rast, Jake Dennis, Nick Cassidy will be in the mix there, as well as Max Gunther, Dan Tickton, Nico Müller, Sergio Setecamera, Roberto Meri, Jean-Eric Verne and Stoffel Van Dorn. So 21 started this race, 12 to take to the restart.
Yeah, this is it's definitely going to be a bit of a shake-up. The question I've got is when the cars that were in the pits, like Stoffel Van Dorn, for example, if they do finally get to the race, then which position will he be in? What's the actual lineup when it comes to play?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, now the action begins again. Our focus is going to shift over to the restart of this race. Let's see what this man here is going to be able to do. You can see the restart order at the bottom of your screen. We'll run through that a little bit later on in a few moments' time. Interesting, no Wehrlein mentioned there as well.
The domino effect of what happened is fairly profound here at the Rome Prix and round 13. I'd like to say delighted to be joined by Sylvain Filippi. Very unfortunate circumstances, obviously TP of Envision Racing. First of all, with Sebastian Buemi, is he okay? How is he so far?
Yes, he's physically fine, which is good news. From what I hear, I think all the drivers are okay for now, which is the main thing. He's extremely annoyed, obviously. Not at anyone, but just yeah, the circumstances. It's a really high-speed corner, and as you could see, it's a blind corner. They arrived really fast. They just couldn't do anything.
In terms of pragmatism, Kelvin, just off air, you made a really brilliant point about what could potentially happen.
Yeah, Sylvan, so we were discussing, and obviously a lot of teams are sharing chassis, just logistically. What is the process for tomorrow? Obviously, Jaguar have the same issue as you guys, very damaged cars. Who gets priority in terms of that? Have you had a chat about that? Like, what is the process there?
Yeah, there's a process pre-agreed before the season starts. So we have a pool of spare chassis that we share, and then there's another level of, there's other, call them like naked chassis, basically, completely unprepared chassis available at the supplier as well, I believe. So, you know, I mean, you look at the state of the cars, I don't think we can keep a single part of that car anyway. I think overnight we'll rebuild a brand new car. Therefore, you know, we'll have new parts anyway, so it doesn't really matter. Hopefully, there will be enough spares for everyone. I don't know that for sure, I hope. But either way, it's an all-nighter for sure to rebuild a new car for tomorrow.
We're seeing Mitch Evans obviously get his helmet on without moments away from the race beginning once again. Just on the human levels, Sylvan, how are you actually feeling personally?
Well, we never like to see that. You know, it's a really high speed. You have to remember, I've been in Germany for 9 years. The speed has evolved considerably. These Gen 3 cars are some of the fastest race cars on the planet now. So, and the acceleration is so strong, even out of slow corners. They pick up speed and get to 200 kph very rapidly. So many of these turns are actually really high speed. So, you know, credit to the FIA, the safety of the survival cells, really great that the drivers are safe. But, you know, when I hear that my car is on fire, it's never a good feeling. So, glad everyone is okay.
Thanks for your time, really appreciate it, Sylvan. We now get the race underway and hand back to our commentary team of Tom Brooks and Alan McNish.
Yeah, thanks very much indeed there, Radzi. Good to hear from Sylvan Felipe. We understand that Pascal Wehrlein, though his car is back in the pit lane and seemingly ready to go, the Porsche team are going to have to ask race control to restart the race. They're in the garage doing repairs, but not in the pit lane. So they do expect him to take to the restart, which is why he wasn't mentioned. So it's now been just changing on our timing screen. It's gone from 12 to 13 drivers ready to go for the start of this race as we get ready to get round 13 back underway here in Rome. Well, that's great news then for Pascal Wehrlein here, Alan, because there was a brief moment of confusion and we were a bit worried that he wasn't going to be able to get himself back onto the grid.
Yeah, certainly for Pascal, he's lining up 12th, and you know, that is quite a change from where it was prior to that incident. And so he had a bit of damage. You could see from the onboard that we saw earlier on, the steering was a little bit askew, but now that's been repaired. And he's got, realistically, a very good chance of finishing in the points. It'll be tough to finish very high up the points, but to some extent, a lot better chance than he had maybe 45 minutes ago.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, you can see the Unplugged team down there just getting a few bits of information. Before we get this restart underway, let's head down to Saunders for an update ahead of the next rally of the race.
Yeah, thank you very much, guys. There's just a few things I thought would be worth talking about. One is a visual representation of the severity of this incident and how many people it has affected. Now, if you just kind of take a little look at some of the garages, and specifically the empty garages, because it almost feels like, for a large part of the grid, at least the top half of the championship, there is at least one car affected from that incident, which, as we've mentioned a few times, is going to have huge ramifications on the team's championship, based on the number of points that the others can get to the driver that's doing well. That's one thing that visually is just, it's quite jarring, if I'm being honest, to see. The second thing was just to follow up a little bit about what Sylvan was saying to the guys there about the spare parts. So there is a certain number of spare parts available for the entire grid. Usually it's not a problem when there's one or two incidents, but when you have this many cars involved in one incident and only less than 24 hours before another race day, bear in mind we've got free practice three first thing tomorrow morning, it does feel like we could see a potential problem for quite a lot of cars. We might see drivers and teams not being able to field a car tomorrow based on lack of spare parts or too much to do overnight. There is also a cut-off to the point where they're allowed to keep working. It's not like they can work from here all the way until free practice tomorrow. So there's all these kind of little sporting regulations and rules which just add to the problem that a lot of these teams and drivers are going to have. So yeah, just a few points that I thought worth mentioning before we get back out on track again.
Thanks very much indeed there, Saunders. Yeah, ready to get action back underway now here for the restart. Confirmed starting order, you just see on the graphic at the bottom of your screen, means that it who will line up on pole position, followed by Mitch Evans on the front row of the grid. Row 2 will be René Rast for the Neon McLaren team, with Jake Dennis in the Avalanche Andretti. Row 3 is championship protagonist Nick Cassidy, his nearest rival, Jake Dennis, actually, of course, just up the road, ahead of Max Gunther in the Maserati. Then it's Dan Tickton and Nico Muller, the Neo and the Apt Cupra. Sergio Sette Camara and Roberto Meri line up P9 and P10
9-4, and 1.
That's the voice of Scott
Start
Elkins, who
lining
is
up behind the
the
safety car
FIA
in
race
the
director.
restart order as displayed on the timing monitors, please.
So Scott Elkins there just giving direction as to which cars should line up where on the grid. Of course, it does give another opportunity here for Pascal Wehrlein. Just riding on board here with Sebastian Buemi. This is the incident that, of course, ended his race and indeed wiped out pretty much half of the field as we ride on board this carriage. I don't think we've actually seen this particular view. Oh, that is absolutely horrible, isn't it, watching it on board like that.
Yeah, that was it's a heavy impact. There was not a yellow flag at that point because Sandberg had just had his accident, and so there was very limited time for any yellow flag, any warning flag to come out for the drivers following, and so certainly very tough. Sylvain Philippe came into this weekend with 2 drivers that were very, very competitive, and he's now down to 1. However, that driver's Nick Cassidy, previous winner of the last race, and also someone that I think can be definitely looking at a podium for this race.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, let's head down to Saunders before we get this restart underway and find out what's happening on the ground in the pit lane.
So back in the pit lane studio with Oliver Askew. Now there's a couple of things we're going to look at. One thing in particular, in very much slow motion, because we need to get a proper look at this. It's Sam Bird and Jake Dennis, and just how close Jake Dennis comes to his race being over. Let's have a look at this and play it through, but really slow it down straight away. Oliver, take it away.
Yeah, so what we can clearly see here, there's a manhole cover that just as that crosswalk passes and Sam Bird went over that, bottomed out, and essentially lost grip, which then tossed him into the dirty part of the track. Jake Dennis narrowly missed hitting a Sam Bird here, and you know what might have been a drastic situation for his championship hopes.
Let's just take another look at that and slow it down even more, because we wanted to see where is that point. It was just earlier, isn't it? It's just right at the start of that clip. So play that through. Bump, there it is, just there. And that just goes to show about Formula E racing in general, right? The streets that we race on, they are exactly that. They are streets. They're not purpose-built for racing. They have all these imperfections, and the drivers have to deal with that, and that is a fundamental part of Formula E racing, is it not?
Yes, each corner has its own characteristic, and it's very difficult to manage that. So
absolutely. Thank you again for the insight.
Let's
go back to the cars on track.
Yeah, thank you very much indeed, Saunders and Ollie, for that analysis of the incident. Lap 9 out of 25 we were on for this race was red flag. Now behind
the safety car has
safety
left
car,
the pit lane, guys.
30
Let's go.
cars
Give it to order, please. Thank you very
ready to
much.
take the grid.
Thank you very much.
Just of course there of Scott Elkins, the race director, just giving directions to the teams that need to be filing out in a particular order. And over the course of the next, we'll have 17 laps remaining in this race, including the one that we're on. See what is going to happen. So the Taycan leads the field around. Sasha Fenestras
Okay, everybody, let's get together. Let's get packed
sharp
up,
end.
please. Let's get packed up.
Trying to
Get
coordinate
close, get
everything.
10 car lengths of each other, so
on track
this
here.
restart completed, please.
Just trying to get the drivers all lined up with one another, and then we will get this restarted. Formula E race for round 13 here in Rome back underway in a few moments' time, with Sasha Fenestras in a prime position.
Pascal Van
Sharp
Doorn.
end of the field. You wonder what is going to be running through his mind in particular at this moment. Mitch Evans, double Rome winner here from last year, to Jaguar's first victory back in 2021 as well. So let's see what is going to happen here with these drivers. So we're looking set like we're going to go for the full race distance here, Alan.
Yeah, we'll go for the race distance, no question. We already had that safety car, so there's a chance of some additional laps at the end. Not due to the red flag, because it's basically like a full pause on the race. But we will get to the 25 laps, and it's going to be 25 frantic laps. Bit of a reset. Sasha Fenestras had just taken the lead. Mitch Evans got himself back into second. And so I think there's quite a lot of different things to play out here now, as we're hearing just in the break, Pascal Wehrlein is back. He's got to get out a jail-free card. He's in 12th position there, and with a sort of resettled car.
The timing screens are correct in regards to current lap and laps remaining.
Just a bit of information there there to the teams. The timing screens are correct. We've got max laps remaining. That's just a piece of additional info.
Yeah, absolutely. So now the focus shifts on the race beginning. Lost quite a number of drivers in that one. Sandberg, Sebastian
Position all teams there is a surface flag at turn 6, just for some of the oil dry that we put down there. It's just a little bit dusty, so just please be aware.
So surface flag there down at turn 6.
That's what you want to hear as the team principal. One of your cars is out, but there's a dusty oil flag at the fastest part of the circuit just before they go racing again.
Just to give you another thing to have to worry about in this race. Eden Mortara also out of this one. Lucas Degrassi, Robin Fries, etc. And we know, of course, Andre Lotterer was out following an incident earlier on in the race, which actually brought out the safety car in the opening stages. So running on board we are here then with our race leader, Sasha Fenestraz, ready to bring the field across the timing line. Sam Bird, the man who started that chain reaction full of incidents. Sitting in the garage, wondering what might have been a bit of a missed opportunity perhaps. But we are then ready to get racing action to resume then. Lap 9 out of 25, round 13 of the ABB FIA Formula E World Championship is about to resume. It's Sasha Fenestraz in the
14 driver. Cuma 14 driver doang. Cuma di S yang lengkap, sisanya nggak lengkap. Oh, sama Nissan.
Start, he's on the clean side of the grid. Mitch Evans is now a little bit more vulnerable in second on the grid on the dirty side.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's see what is going to happen then as we look at Stoffel Van Dorn just getting his DS Penske into position. 16 laps of racing action ready to go for the restart. And what can this man, Jake Dennis, do from 4th place on the grid? Well then, it is all eyes ready to go. Green flag is waved at the back. But no problems as we get ready to go racing then. It's going to be time for the 5 red lights to come on. Fenestraz on the left, Evans on the right, lights out and we're racing. Not a bad start from Evans, not bad also from Jake Dennis off the dirty side of the grid.
Ras. Ras mungkin bisa. Dennis. Wih, Dennis so.
Jake Dennis really did attack there as a much more gentle and circumspect up into turn 7, but Jake Dennis is there on the
lagi-lagi Maserati.
Just able to get that move done in the Maserati, so Cassidy now relegated down a position. Dan Tickton keeping a watching brief on proceedings, but it is Sasha Fenestraz then who leads the field, followed by Mitch Evans, who's still in front of Jake Dennis. That great start of the race for Jake Dennis as he tries to get as far up the order as he can whilst the field is bunched up here on this opening lap.
Yeah, we've got to remember Jake Dennis started the original race in 7th place. He's on the podium right now and he's right behind one of his main title contenders, and so very, very strong attack there from Jake Dennis. Clever way that he took advantage of Rennie Rast as a couple of
DS langsung dua-duanya ambil takmat.
Jake Dennis has got all of his attack mode remaining there in 3rd place.
Nick Cassidy is on the attack as well. Gunther up ahead of him. He just muscled his way through, but Cassidy's looked very, very good in the final sector, and it's quite clear he wants that position back.
Yeah, so let's see what's
Here comes Dennis. Maserati. Subah nih Maserati gila banget dari tadi Gunther. Nick ngambil. Nice banget itu.
Gunter was out there on the wrong side of the circuit, the dirty side. He had to lift off, and that allowed Cassidy to come through.
Defensive line, mid.
Very vigorously. Rennie Rast touches the back of Jake Dennis. Just a little bit of a kiss. Gunter goes for it again. Backs out.
Yeah, he's going to come under attack here. Possible from Dan Tington there as well. Tington thinks better of it, decides that discretion is the better part of valor for now. You can see the drivers who've activated the attack though from the left-hand side of your screen. That includes John Eric Vernon, includes Stoffel Van Dorn.
Ivan jaraknya 25.
5-point standings on the bottom right of your screen. It will be Jake Dennis if the checkered flag fell now.
Tasi, halo, Tasi.
6-point swing into round 14 here tomorrow. Let's see
Hilang langsung orangnya.
keep that gap or whether he might be able to extend that gap as he sits in third place, of course, with the full 8 minutes of attack mode ready at his disposal.
Now coming round the obelisk there. Here's Evans' radio. He's second.
was on the wrong strategy. He's just gone longer now. He might start ghosting earlier.
Ya, 3% lebih dikit.
Basically he was on base a little bit too much.
Nick, bahaya nih Nick.
And as you can see,
Kasih dek.
3% less, as does Rennie Rast than the people behind him. Rast has now got to be careful because Cassidy behind him has got more energy and he will look to overtake as soon as he can.
Yeah, this is going to be crucially important. It doesn't sound like a lot, but it's the equivalent of about a lap and a half or so. You can see there as the striking distance graphic sits on your screen on the right-hand side. You can see there that Cassidy in 5th place. Jake Dennis up the road.
Isi pas lah Nick harusnya. Oh, masih belum bisa dong.
Rast there on the defense against Nick Cassidy.
Stoffel. Out of fun. Oh, fun.
Yeah, Cassidy here needs to try and pick up the pace and get himself ahead of Rennie Rast as soon as he possibly can. Mitch Evans there looking like he's trying to go on the attack as Fenestras goes slightly defensive in towards 7.
Oh, dictum.
Unfortunately, one of the App Coopers, that of course is the only remaining App Cooper of Nico Muller, who went into the back, I think of maybe Dan Tington, in towards that second corner. I think John Eric Vernon was involved in some strife there too.
Yeah, it's all closing up at the back, but another problem for Pascal Wehrlein. He's had a roller coaster day. He's under investigation for overspeeding under the red flag.
That is a damage for Dan Tington on board the number 33. So the Britain's race with damage on the front of his
Nick.
up the inside of Rennie Rast in towards 14. Does he make the move stick? Yes, he does. So now manages to get himself ahead of the Neon McLaren. Next target is going to be Jake Dennis. Into attack mode goes Maxi Gunter from 5th place.
Yeah, he gets out in front of the Neo as well. Quite neat and tidy there from Gunter. He's dropped himself down into 7th, so he's now behind Jean-Eric Vergne. But the person on the charge definitely is Nick Cassidy. And I would say
Fun bisa top 5 ini. Lawannya Ras 56% nih. Evans. Ah, Rene out. Disaster banget itu McLaren. Oh, Norman. He make it.
Yes, he's leading, but he's holding a hole in the air for Evans and Co behind, just to conserve energy, just to sit in that slipstream, and therefore now he's having to defend.
Defend mid. You have to defend. You have to defend. Nice mid. Oh, nice smartphone. Ya, masih belum bisa Van. Gunter defense.
They come down towards that point now, but Fenestras is going to have to really do something here. But being out in front and going at the pace he's going, he's just not going to be able to make it to the end. He's just using too much energy to be able to do it. But Nick Cassidy, he's looking to try to take advantage. Every time Dennis goes to the outside into turn 7 of Evans, Nick Cassidy is just in an optimum position to pick up the place.
Roberto Meri and crucially Pascal Wehrlein go for attack mode. 2 minutes left for both of those drivers. Wehrlein sitting down in 12th at the moment. He's going to try and pick up as many points as he possibly can here.
So there's only two drivers that haven't used any attack mode. One of them is Jake Dennis in third, Nick Cassidy in fourth.
So those two title protagonists could possibly put a bit of pressure here onto the back of Mitch Evans, who has activated one of his attack modes so far in this race. Through the left hander we go across.
Iya Dennis. Iya Dennis. Aduh bahaya nih Gunternya.
But here comes Max Günther on the inside as well. Side by side action they go. Günther on the inside, still trying to hold it a long way around the outside. 2x2 through here. It's a very brave move given how bumpy the circuit is. Max Günther decides that discretion is a better part of valor. Backs out for the time being.
He does love a late dive into that turn forward as Max Günther. And they're just all now trying to hold their position more than necessarily attack. And look to try and take advantage if somebody gets pushed out of position.
Lots of arching going on further back as well as the drivers try to make some moves. You can see the graphic on the left-hand side of the screen. That's where they're accelerating. And then, of course, regenerating energy as well. So they're lifting off, lifting and coasting, trying to get as much energy back into the powertrain as they possibly can to give them as much energy as they have for the remainder of this race. Sasha Fenestraz it is, still leading the way, but he's got less energy remaining than Evans and Dennis behind him at the moment.
He's got a lot less energy, and I think if Cassidy gets past Dennis, you'll see Evans have an attack on Fenestraz.
Nick!
He doesn't want to necessarily be in a position where he's got the Envision driver
Sundul-sundulan.
He knows that he's got a bit of performance advantage over Dennis, but I don't think he does over Cassidy.
Cassidy's trying to pull the pin here, isn't he? He's really beginning to put the pressure onto Dennis. Dennis having to take slightly defensive line into these right and left-handers, into these 90-degree corners. And now it's a case of Dennis, if he's going to be able to defend from the Kiwi, and this is going to be crucial in the championship for where they're going to finish. Of course, they both still have the maximum amount of attack.
Oh, Dennis!
Here we go. Here it is, a challenge for second place, with Dennis getting ahead of Mitch Evans and through. He
Wow.
on the Kiwi and the Jaguar, and up into second place, putting a buffer.
That also puts Cassidy into play as well, because Cassidy's now round the outside of Evans. Is he going to be able to pull it off? I don't think so. I think he's too far to be able to do it round there, but it means that Cassidy is right there.
Dennis sekarang ambil alih.
Dennis going to do? Well, this is going to be really important here. These drivers, Cassidy and Dennis, have
Slipstream Dennis. Kejauhan.
coming down over the bumps we go into turn number 7. Trying to go for the outside line. There is Cassidy having a half look.
Yo. Gila Dennis.
Fenestraz going for the race lead in towards the left-hander. Lap 15 and a 25 are on. We've got a new race leader. It is Jake Dennis in the Avalanche Andretti. Now,
Ambil tak mod pasti.
tactics going to be here in this race.
Well, he needs to try to get away a little bit, and I think he probably can, because Fenestraz needs to conserve energy right now.
Right, Houston, yeah?
Houston, I think that was the comment there. That's obviously a code, because they don't want everybody to know, especially not us on the television. But Dennis has still got to take his attack mode, so therefore I think he's going to probably go one more lap and then try to bring it in.
Yeah, this is crucial here as to when you deploy the extra power that you have available. 300 kilowatts.
Apa Mas Rur, Mas Rur.
Give you 50 more kilowatts. 350 is what they'll have when they go into that attack mode area.
Cassidy's the one with the most energy at this moment in time, then Evans and Dennis.
Yeah, so those three drivers really close to one another in terms of the amount of
Evans 48% dong.
lowest on the track is actually
Sasha 43, pancing a hole.
Fenestraz in the Nissan in 13th place. Might leave him under threat here from Mitch Evans, and let's see whether Evans is going to try and retaliate.
Attack Sasa, Mitch attack Sasa.
They have to get past the Nissan. Here's Fenestraz's radio.
Yeah, I know, but is this on purpose or what? Do I follow the guy or what? Just tell me, Jojo, what to do, man. I need to overconsume if I want to follow.
Overconsume means use too much energy. He's got to basically drop in behind. He cannot survive at this pace. He needs to get the information from his team, drop behind, and then use them.
Yeah, nice.
That's exactly what he's done now.
Come on, Mitch.
Evans goes through then into second place. Now he's going to have the whole punched in the air in front of him instead of being punched in front of him. So let's see how this works out. Jake Dennis, meanwhile, now 1.6 seconds to the good of Mitch Evans, who is in second.
Dennis harus ngambil 2 kali sih attack mode.
So this is going to be really important here for Jake Dennis as well, because he's now built out enough of a buffer. If he goes into attack mode here on this lap, he could potentially keep the lead. He's just going to run wide through turn 15, and that's where you activate the attack mode. Let's see what is going to happen here for Dennis as he comes through. 2 seconds now, the advantage he builds over
Yeah,
Evans,
attack.
and he's going to go into attack mode then. So the race leader into that area of the track activates his attack
Wah, Dennis sudah nih menang.
2 minutes, so 2 minutes, and then for him, and also Sergio Sese camera going in as well, with still the lead of the race for Jake Dennis.
Cassidy needs to get past Fenestraz ASAP because he's got the energy to be able to do it, but also he can see the two ahead just eking away right now.
Yeah, this is crucial here for Nick Cassidy. Really needs to begin to pile the pressure on to Sasha Fenestraz and get past him before too long. He doesn't want to let the top two break away into the distance. You can see the attack mode remaining then once the current ones have run down. It'll be 6 minutes apiece for the top three, but Cassidy still has that full application of attack mode remaining. Is he going to try and go for a dive down the inside?
Ooh, cool.
Crucial there for Nick Cassidy.
Easy pass.
He possibly can. Now his next target is Mitch Evans with the full deployment of attack mode at his disposal.
What do you want me to do, man? Am I going with the things or not? Mode toggle, mode toggle.
Aduh,
Toggle, your guess is as good as mine, but what I can tell you is
kode-kodenya bingung.
the fastest first sector of the race so far. So I would suggest mode toggle is get on there, boy, and get moving.
Yeah, well, 44 seconds now remaining of this current deployment here for Jake Dennis. So we'll have 6 left and ready to go. You see lap 17 of 25. This race is absolutely flying by, and it is anybody's guess as to who is going
Mitch bisa ngajarnya.
the checkered flag. It was Mitch Evans who started originally from pole position. Team radio.
Just need to manage this gap to Mitch at the moment. Mitch on threshold, whiskey 1.
So
Come on, come on, come on, come on, come on.
to manage that gap to Mitch. Both of them have got some attack mode left at their disposal. Not going for it this time around. Makes sense for them to continue in the same vein as they started. We ride on board here with Jake Dennis, who's soaking up the pressure from Mitch Evans and the Jaguar TCS racing machine like an absolute sponge at the moment. It's going to get really frenetic as we come in towards the closing stages of this one here.
We saw a very fast first sector, and then actually it's been the other way around. Cassidy and also Evans caught up. But I tell you what, Evans is looking really, really good. Here you see on the left-hand side there.
Ini Cruz ngambil nih.
Time remaining. Dennis 6 minutes, Evans 6. Cassidy still got 8 minutes to go. He hasn't been through that yet.
Nick Cassidy, the winner from Portland last time out. Can he make it 2 wins from 2 races? In a great opportunity to do so.
Cheating duck, finish trust. Cheating duck.
Down in towards the left-hander of turn number 4. No move being made there for the Maserati at the moment. Just behind them, of course, is Jean-Eric Byrne in the DS Penske and Muller in the At Cupra as well. On board we go through 6 on the rise, up in towards 7. We know that he's not afraid of a late dive. Is Gunther goes defensive there. Does Fenestraz, but Gunther ahead already before the braking zone and up through into 4th.
Just got to give you a little bit of a shout out for some of the runners and riders that you wouldn't necessarily expect. Nico Muller is in 7th, Sergio Seti Cameron the Neo in 9th, and Verline is still in 10th. He hasn't really moved up very much.
Yeah, Sergio Seti Camera just moving up the order. There is Nico Muller, you can see in the At Cupra having an absolutely fantastic run. It's been a really challenging 2023 season for the At Cupra team so far with that Mahindra power unit, and well, Nico Muller will be hoping to
Dennis attack mode. Kasih Ji.
because he's only had 2 points on the board this year as into
Gak ada pilihan lain soal sini.
goes Jake Dennis and he drops behind Mitch Evans. So 6 minutes now is what he's deployed on lap 18 of the 25, and Cassidy of course crucially has gone in for the first time here as well, as you can see. So 2 minutes at the disposal here.
Kayaknya lap ini Mitch ngambil dah.
In the opening stages.
6 minutes for Dennis there as he now he'll sit in behind.
Ush, suatu slap dong.
Sit in behind Evans as Evans is just on the fastest lap of the race. Crucial, not just because of the bragging rights, but because of the point that comes with it.
Jaguar TCS Racing telling Mitch Evans to push as hard as he can. At the moment he's responded with that with the fastest lap, as Alan said, of the race so far. So, a bit of a stalemate here between Dennis and Cassidy. Both of those drivers have deployed attack mode. Dennis, though, going for the full 6 minutes, which is what he had remaining here in this race. Is that going to leave him vulnerable in the closing stages? Lap 19 out of 25 we sit on here for round 13. Down in towards the left-hander of turn 7 we go. Hard braking zones there. We've seen a few drivers getting it wrong, but no problem so far. Team radio.
We'll have gap to attack to Cassidy. If he goes crazy, let him go. If not, we attack.
So, information there for him to say that if he goes crazy, then we can attack. If not, then we'll go. So let's see what is going to work out here for Mitch Evans as we look at the Kiwi. 3 times a winner at this Rome circuit. Needs to try and build.
Do you think Max and Perez is going to win the whole Formula 1 season? Yeah, I think so.
So there you see on the right hand side the attack zone graphic, which they don't take.
It's only Max. Perez, I don't know, man.
The fact that if Evans did take attack mode, he would lose too much time and slip in behind Jake Dennis. One of the reasons they didn't actually do it. He's looking now to try to build the gap and do what Dennis did before. Take the attack mode and still then come out in the lead.
Yeah, that is the main name of the game.
Again, fastest lap.
Loses few positions as you possibly can when you're going into that attack mode. Another fastest lap though of the race for the leader, Mitch Evans.
Yeah, and I know that Cassidy's just been into attack mode, but actually he's 3 seconds behind now. Evans and Dennis are checking out. They're the ones that are delivering the lap time, 6-7 tenths faster than Cassidy on the last lap.
Yeah, this is going to be really interesting to see what happens here for Nick Cassidy. Is he going to be in the prime seats? Meanwhile, Fenestraz still coming under yet more pressure here at the form of Sergio Sette Camera. We know that Fenestraz has been struggling with energy over the remainder of this race. Defensive line there for Mitch Evans as Dennis tries to attack down into 7.
But Dennis has got 3% less energy than Mitch Evans, so Evans is actually in a good position right now because it doesn't come for free. You don't get speed just for free.
2% lebih banyak, tapi ini flat out.
Because then he's using more power anyway, goes to 350 kilowatts, and naturally it does drop down your energy.
Yeah, what he needs here is Evans to go into the attack mode so he can get himself ahead and try and make as much ground as he possibly can. But with that fewer energy remaining, could be set to be pretty crucial here. I wonder if Evans is going to go into the attack mode here on this lap. He's got more energy remaining. He's got one more attack mode disposal left at his helm as well. Coming in towards
Yeah, check attack.
team radio as well.
Nice.
So team radio there saying that he's got more energy than Dennis and he's going to use this opportunity to attack. He's gone through into there.
Gagal.
And as you can see there, Michael Andretti looking at it. You know, he
Loh,
knows a little
gagal
bit
kah?
the extra numbers behind it. Whichever way for Jake Dennis, he's in a good position because it looks like the top 3 are definitely.
Oh no, Mitch gagal ngambil.
Gunter in 4 is now 4 seconds behind Dennis.
I just understand. Yeah, I was wondering on the graphic why Evans the attack mode didn't come through, but he missed the activation point. He missed one of the
loops. So there's 3 loops, and you have to run the car over all 3 to be able to then use it, and so therefore he'll have to do that again.
Well, that is absolute worst case scenario here for Mitch.
Aduh. Gagal.
Going into that corner, trying to cut the just half a wheel almost on the inside.
It's very, very tight. It looked like he kind of got it because the sensor's placed on it. It's not actually the whole car. It's where the sensor is placed on the car, and that activates against sensors on the circuit.
Well, Meatloaf wants saying 2 out of 3 at bad.
We still have the gap to Cassidy and have the energy advantage to Dennis to catch him back. Cassidy another attack to go. Let's go.
Ambil lagi. Masih bisa sih, tapi tipis banget.
Yeah, but what Dennis wants to do is to back up Evans so that when he does take these attack mode Evans, then he is behind Cassidy.
Yeah, we'll strike with a buffer between himself then, doesn't he? Let's see whether Evans is going to go into the attack. He's going to go for it. Let's hope he doesn't make the same mistake twice. Goes through into there.
Masuk sih harusnya. Yes. Yuk, let's go. 4 lap.
No, they have to do it because there is only 3 laps to go plus the added laps, and they have to finish all of their attack mode by the time they get to the end of the race. And so therefore you have to ensure that you get it done. And so right
Bisa ini, dia udah gak ada attack mode. Bisa menang.
the added laps. Is it going to be 1, 2 or 3? Probably 2 or 3.
So here we see then Mitch Evans right on the heels of Jake Dennis. His attack mode now
Nggak ada kan? Oke.
is over. Those extra 50 kilowatts of power come to an end, and now he's going to possibly be under attack.
4.7, Sean. Again.
Yes. Okay, make the gap.
Through into the race lead. Frustration then for Dennis as he loses out to Mitch Evans in the Jaguar TCS racing car.
The question is he going to lose out to Cassidy as well? Because he is out of it. Cassidy's got nearly 5 minutes. That's nearly 3 laps of attack mode, 350 kilowatts, where now Dennis is kind of a little bit like a sitting duck at 300
Dennis selalu nggak beruntung di Rome's Prix. Musim lalu juga ngalamin hal yang sama. Sekarang juga. Dennis P3. I'm sitting duck, mate.
Frustration starts to creep in here for Jake Dennis as well. Quite clearly, he is really feeling the pressure.
Nick.
As he comes under pressure here from Nick Cassidy. Does he go through in the second? Yes, he does. So now the Envision is up through with a clear track in front of him. Silva Filippi applauds the team.
Apakah Gunter bisa nyalip Dennis dengan advantage 2%? Wah, ini battle ini P3. Oh, lap edit 2 lap. Wah, Gunter bisa nyalip ini kalau tambah 2 lap. Gunter. Wah, Gunter nih kesempatan podium lagi nih. Ya, Gunter podium. Dennis is absolutely sitting duck ya. Same like last year. Oh, Gunter. Aman nggak? Suspension nggak? Aman? Aman. Kayaknya nggak ada damage sih. Damage. Wow. Berarti 27 ya? Oke. Wah, Miss masih bisa nih 20 poin. Ya, full fokus Max. Ya, Mitch. Dennis sudah nih. Kesalvan sama Muller nih. 3 lap lagi. Gokil up bisa 6 sih, meskipun ada karena insiden tadi ya, tapi bisa ngikutin di S ini loh. Gokil sih. Dennis harus bertahan dari dua mobil ini. Big questions, can he defend? 2 posisi loh, poinnya gede banget. Wah, Dennis P5 I think. Oh, she's absolutely to fan. Oh, yellow flag? Oh, debris.
From wing is missing on the other of the DS Penske. Clearly he has had a coming together of the wall. Van Dorn down in 11th, so outside of the points paying positions for now. But
Punya Van Dorn.
he will have wanted to have finished his race, and the yellow flag might just be a saving grace for a brief moment here.
Yeah, Pascal Wehrlein as well, just noting him, he's now up to 7th place. So therefore Wehrlein from a championship point of view still kind of keeps himself hanging on.
Well, we understand that it was actually Van Dorn and Wehrlein that came together during that one. We didn't see exactly what happened, but either way the debris that's stricken over the circuit has brought the yellow flag out, so it continues. But look at Nico Müller all over the back.
Flat out ini udah. Bisa nih Evan. Ayo Evan, salib Dennis. Ada laps. Ya, jangan gak bisa overtake di turn 7 ini. 1% more energy.
I would say wide car not to allow him to be mugged by the two behind, but he's still going to have to defend a lot.
Yeah, it really is. That was due to lifting coast and getting a bit of regen braking in that avalanche entrance, so he's done a really good job of just backing the pack up. It's now damage limitation time here for Jake Dennis. Can he salvage 4th place in this one? The podium is going to be out of the question, but as he still comes under every...
Masih ada yellow flag. Aduh, nggak bisa ngapa-ngapain ini.
Overtaking spots on the track at turn 7. That of course is due to the debris of Stoffel Van Dorn's front wing.
Yeah, it's going to be a very robust overtake from Jon-Erik Verne if he's going to do it, but he's also got to be careful because if he doesn't quite get it done, Nico Müller's definitely there to pick up the pieces.
Overtake Dennis.
We have got Mitch Evans has got 1.6 seconds at the front. Meanwhile over Nick Cassidy having a half look. There is Jon-Erik Verne, but no room for him down in towards turn 12. It certainly wouldn't be a place to go.
Nico Müller 6%.
I think the 14-second gap is the thing that's frustrating him more than necessarily, but at least he knows that he can now play a little bit more aggressive with the guys behind. Still going defensive as Jon-Erik Verne. Something towards his nice three lefts. This could be an opportunity for him, maybe trying to compromise the British driver's traction coming through this series of corners. And maybe send one up the inside. Look at how tight he's making that corner, but that's going to cost him time.
Ayo Jeff. Final lap Jeff.
Who sits in 3rd place, and in terms of Kiwi drivers, finished 1-2 twice this season so far, back in Sao Paulo and also
oh, udah nggak ada yellow flag. Udah nggak ada yellow flag. Bisa ini. Bisa ini. Bisa ini. Nggak ada yellow flag. Ah.
No room for him to make his way through into 4th for now. What an absolutely superb drive, meanwhile, at the helm of the race. This has been for Mitch Evans. He has controlled this one absolutely brilliantly, whilst others faltered behind him. Nick Cassidy sitting in 3rd place.
No, you can't overtake here.
Trying to attack on the back of Jake Dennis, but no way for him to come through. Meanwhile, it's just a couple of corners remaining here for
Mitch Evans wins. Mitch Evans wins. Two cylinders wins. Up. Last corner. Wah, Dennis bisa bertahan dong. Wehrlein 7, NATO 8, CT Camara 9, Venes 10. Spesifikasi PC. 29 poin berarti ya Mitch dapat. Perfect executed.
Doing a great job.
Mitch, it's Alan here. Congratulations, fantastic third victory in a trot and fourth overall here in Rome in what was a frenetic race.
Yeah, thanks, Alan. Yeah, just incredible. My fourth win here is at a really crucial time of the season. You know, Nick pushed me hard. It was really a game of sort of two halves in this race, so I kept up cool, and the team and I executed a perfect race. So just big thanks to the team for guiding me through, and we're rolling to tomorrow.
Well done. Get ready for tomorrow.
Well, I suppose the sweet victory feeling is going to be somewhat short-lived here for Mitch Evans, as you say. Round 14 to come here tomorrow in the sweltering sunshine of Rome, but what a drive.
Lumayan 29 poin.
Here for Jaguar. Now we mentioned a little bit earlier on that Pascal Wehrlein and his overspeeding under the red flag was under investigation.
So thank you semuanya udah nonton. Thank you yang udah nge-give. Tadi Maggie sama Cap. Thank you. So see you next day, tomorrow. Bye bye guys.
So it's not that he gained any particular position, and ultimately he then had to start at the back anyway because of the damage to his car. And so I would think that it's unlikely to change the positions of the race, but it's also not a surprise if he gets penalty points and a fine.